let's talk a little bit about rent control, because that's one of the things that affects investors in our neck of the woods here in Ontario.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we've got rent control that basically says you cannot increase the rent of your property by a certain percentage every year.
Yeah, so the government sets or Ontario government sets the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
This year, believe it or not, it was high at 2.5%.
So
Brutal.
you can't raise your rent more than 2.5%,
Exactly.
regardless of what your expenses go up.
Exactly. And, there's certain rules and restrictions, and depending when you last did it, you can only do it once a year.
Right.
So, I mean...
So in Florida, it's not like that, right?
Right.
I don't think. I'd have to look at it some more. But basically, for the villages, the majority of people are doing short-term rentals,
Yeah.
not necessarily long-term rentals, although they do have those. There doesn't seem to be a rent control issue in Florida at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. For the people in Florida who have heard about Canada being a more socialist leaning, or that sort of has that bent. I mean, there is some truth to it. Government gets involved in a lot of stuff. In fact, now, I think in Halifax, they've even come down where there's only certain areas you can do VRBOs, right?
Or Airbnb.
Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And
then
they're
they
trying to
need
bring it into
licenses.
others. Exactly. They're trying to bring it into other cities.
Right.
There always seems to be a cash grab or some kind of control over
Right.
real estate.
So there's been a lot of chatter, a lot of talk about short-term rentals in the villages. And a lot of that is based on the perception that there's more short-term rentals, Airbnb type properties. And usually those discussions are started because an inconsiderate landlord has let people come in and they've partied, or they've made noise, or disrupted the neighborhood.
Yep.
And I empathize with the neighborhoods when that happens, because if I was living there, I wouldn't want that to happen. And it's interesting that these discussions are happening, because we've evolved as a society to having hotels and motels, and that's where you stayed.
Yep.
Airbnb sort of came into the mix. I'm not even sure how many years ago.
I know, but who would have ever thought about that idea?
Yeah.
Staying at an Airbnb, staying in someone's home.
Yeah.
Man, I'm probably one of the most conservative guys, and I'm thinking about renting out my place now, right?
So maybe I told you this already, do you know why it's called Airbnb?
No.
So Airbnb came about because there were two college kids that had a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And there was a big football event happening, and they wanted to raise some money.
Wow.
So they blew up an air mattress, put it in one of the bedrooms, and called it a bed and breakfast. So Airbnb is where it came from.
Beautiful.
So that's evolved to millions and millions of rentals around the world.
Things change.
Things change, yeah.
Things change, and it makes sense. And what has it done, for the economy, for people? Able to rent out their places when they were sitting vacant before.
Right.
Another way real estate pays off. Right.
And I think that there are corporate entities that have bought homes and used them as Airbnbs, right? And they've turned hotels into Airbnbs.
Right.
Blocks of homes as Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a strong supporter of that type of Airbnb, because then it becomes you're running a hotel.
Because in a way, like slumlords.
Yeah.
They don't care about the community anymore.
They don't care about the community, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, I think the majority of people that are doing short-term rent, well, there's two types of short-term rentals, in my opinion, in the villages. One is snowbird season.
Right.
January, February, March, maybe April, maybe December. That is where the majority of the short-term rental period exists. It's a quarter of the year.
Right.
Or a third of the year.
Right.
And then the rest of the year, if they're not living in that home at all, they'll put it on Airbnb and try to get someone in there for a week in April, a week in May, a week in June, and try to bring in additional income. What I've seen is those homes that are doing that type of short-term rental, what I've coined the phrase is they're early birds. They've bought the house, they're not ready to retire.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, they don't want to be putting money out all the time. They'd like to make some income from their investment, right?
Totally makes sense, right?
Yep.
Don't leave the place vacant.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, that's why I'm thinking about my place. But I'll be looking at mine very differently.
So this home here while you're in Florida.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'll be looking at it more. We're about 5 minutes from the university. So we'll probably be looking at somebody who's probably an academic coming here to do
Sabbatical or something like that.
Exactly. Coming for a couple of months or a month or two or whatever. If the situation comes about, it'll be great. But I'm really not interested in, 1 or 2 or a 3-day rental. No. Because that just does not fit this
Because then you
house.
become a property manager too, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I just don't want that.
Right.
So I think it can be worked. There can be compromises to make short-term rentals work.
Right.
And I think it's the same in the villages as well. I mean, if you look at the community there, generally it's people that... There's a lot of respect in that area. Don't you find that?
100%. Yeah.
Right? Very little crime.
Yeah.
People want to maintain a certain kind of level of respectability.
Yep.
And you really feel it when you're down there. That's what I love about it, really.
Yeah, and the way that the villages has, how do I say it? A village. A village is 1,000 homes.
Yeah.
So your village becomes your go-to center.
That's
right. Like you might be in St. Catherine, you might be in Citrus Grove, you might be in Hawkins, you might be in wherever. But that village becomes your center of the universe, right? And you want to take care of it.
It's about community. When we were down there, we saw that all the time. Fundraisers, right? Somebody in the neighborhood running a fundraiser.
Right. A driveway party with a collections, right?
I feel like there's a lot of kindness down there. That's what it comes down to. But at a certain point, maybe that comes with, I hate to say, but maybe it comes with age.
Right.
Where you're not so stressed out because you just got to pay the bills for next week and so on.
You put your time in, and now this is your time to enjoy your golden years, if you want to call it that, right?
Right. I think that's what it comes down to. So whether, let's say, an Airbnb works for young people coming in for a weekend, I don't think so. Not so much.
Right.
So I think, you have the odd situation where there's some problems.
Right.
I think more or less the people who rent up there, they're 55 plus. They're people who respect the neighborhood.
Well, if you're 25, 30 years old and you search Airbnb and it says, this is a plus 55 community.
Yeah.
Are you going to look there or are you going to go to Miami?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're
going to go to Miami, right?
So I wonder about any of the problems, if they're over-exaggerated, overstated, that maybe, they kind of make Facebook or they kind of make the community Facebook group or something like that.
I think there have
when
been,
I was there,
there's been Airbnbs that I haven't witnessed it myself, but I've been told that there are houses with pools that rent all the time, and there's shorter visits, and their families. Now, it's not necessarily 20-something-year-old kids, but it might be adults with grandkids or adults with their kids. And in the villages, there aren't many small children.
You're right.
So if there's kids out playing in the pool, screaming and yelling,
and you got a boombox going.
The perception
at
is
like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
people are pissed.
People are pissed. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's probably more what it is.
2 in the morning,
right?
10:30 at night.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what I love about it. It's like it's easy. I can go out after 8 or 9. I can drive somewhere into outside of town.
Yep.
Go to a bar if I want to there.
Yep.
You got choices, right?
Yeah, or grab the golf cart and go to Sawgrass or go to
Good
Brownwood
show
or
going
whatever.
on.
Right?
Shows end. What time? 9.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
But there's always Netflix, right?
There is Netflix.
You can try that beer?
Usually you're exhausted by 9 o'clock.
I know.
Right? By the time you're up at 7 a.m. walking and playing pickleball.
Well, you got it. That's right.
Yeah.
Playing pickleball early.
Yeah.
Golfing.
Golfing.
Oh my God,
Going to
man.
the pool, swimming at the pool. Like, you're active
There's
all day.
There's too much to do almost. Eh? There's just too much to do.
So
I
what do
love
we got?
that place.
Sierra Nevada. See it? Sierra
Yeah.
Nevada.
Try that.
Pale ale, handcrafted ale.
You know, one thing, just off topic for a second there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, product of USA.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. One thing about craft beer in Canada, my God, man, we've got so much great small breweries, micro breweries, making fabulous beer. Fabulous beer.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, whatever taste. There's one particular I like out of Hamilton, Collective Arts. But of course, I'm a fan of sours, and they make
Good sours.
really good sours, but good IPAs.
Right.
I have not had a bad beer that they make. So, yeah, there's a lot of good places around here. There's no doubt. So, one of the things about the villages, that's the only maybe complaint I have about it. You
They don't have a
can't
sour?
get a good. Well, you can't get a good craft beer.
Right. Right.
But
Not
I
in
know
the
there is-
villages.
I know there is one place.
Leesburg, I think, has a good craft beer.
Possibly, but there's also a place up
Ocala.
Sumter.
Oh, in Sumter, yeah.
There's a store
Okay.
there that sells wine and craft beer.
Okay. We'll have to
That's
check that out.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
So because I do enjoy that, but we like our IPAs there, right?
Yeah.
There's hazy IPAs.
Hazy IPA.
That you can get at most any of the squares.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
good, refreshing.
Yeah, that's good.
Excellent.
I like that.
Yeah,
So-
we're getting into the mode, the coming summer mode,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Enjoying beer,
Yeah.
having good pizza at Frenchie's.
Yeah.
I love that place.
You're already looking forward to
Oh my God, man. The food, that's usually what we talk about down there, right? It's true.
Yeah, going to Sawgrass,
Yeah,
having
just
pizza.
really enjoying it, right?
One of the things I really like over at Sawgrass too is the
And you said they
coffee
changed.
shop, right?
They changed some stuff now,
Oh,
right?
at Sawgrass, yeah, because they've got the waiters that will come out to the tables in the square now. And they've also got a different menu. They've got a sandwich menu and a tapas menu.
that's
So
great.
it's evolving too, right? When that's the one thing that I think that the Villages does really well is they see what's working and they continue to
Yeah.
add to that, and
Yeah.
they see what's not working and they take it away.
There's no doubt.
Right.
I mean, I haven't traveled all over North America, but that is probably the most unique development, housing development that I know
Oh,
of.
absolutely.
And
Yeah, I know that like there's lots of controversy right now about one of the movie theaters closing and being taken over, and you know it's interesting
Oh, is that
because
right?
yeah, like the one up in Sumter.
In Sumter.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's being taken over by another movie company. Epic
Oh, okay.
is taking it over.
okay.
But there was a Lazy Max taco shop
That's
was
right, that's
attached to
right,
that. They're
that's
not
right.
sure if that's going to exist or not. But the interesting thing about that is that they're building Blondies in Spanish Springs. So they're always changing things
You
and
know what?
making it different,
Truthfully,
right? Mhm.
The market will take care of it.
Yeah.
If it's popular,
Mhm.
it'll continue. If it's not popular,
Yeah.
it doesn't deserve to
Well,
be
when
there
are
anyway.
the movie theaters popular? Tuesdays.
Yeah. $8 Tuesday. I
That's
think it was $8 or $6
Go on a
Tuesdays.
Thursday and see how many
Oh
people
my
are
God,
there.
man!
There's
And
no
a
one there.
full-size theater.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And theaters have never made money on the movies.
Well, they're not now.
They make money
They're
on the
having
concessions,
and they're
right?
having a lot of trouble right
Yeah.
now anyway. So, but no, it's a fabulous place, and as I say, I'll probably I'll continue to rent until the opportunity is there to buy.
Right.
But the opportunity for me is going to be different than other people,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's a very personal thing. That's what you got to look at, right?